Hey, how's it going, everyone? Today I'll be presenting my IOR on Warner Shillcott US Sales, LLC, and their criminal and insurance fraud indictment of 2015. First off, how does indictment of insurance fraud come about? It started with the recession. Executives desired increased sales following recent economic recession. Warner Shillcott LLC began to buy up branches of large pharmaceutical companies that wished to limit liability in low cash flow times. Companies like Procter& and Gamble fit the bill for acquisitions well, as they are selling off entire drug lines for very cheap. With these newly acquired prescription drug markets, the young company began to roll out new strategies for increasing sales. New hiring. Representatives are told to hire sales teams that are young and more easily manipulated. With these new sales teams, the president of sales and other senior officials began to pushing the bar for how much they could get healthcare professionals to push their medication. This led to further illegal activity. Unethical strategies. False drug reimbursements, paying kickbacks to physicians, and unproven marketing claims became the prevalence of filling and claiming as many prescriptions as they could on individual and government insurance plans. These young and ambitious sales reps were told to offer kickbacks to physicians and market misprescribed drugs for everyone that could afford it. The company began sponsoring phony seminars for potential clients at lavish restaurants where physicians were paid as educational speakers, although rarely was any education occurring. They would incentivize the medical practices to continue to claim on drugs prescribed for patients they were not intended for, racking hundreds of millions of dollars in insurance claims. This led to corporate fallout. Insurance companies and the government soon became suspicious of the practices of Warner Shillcott. A probe into the finances and insurance claims of the company began in 2011 and rapidly built a case for insurance fraud. Before long, employees became spooked and stepped forward as whistleblowers in the insurance fraud allegations looming over the young company. With federal investigation and the aid of whistleblowers in the case came together extraordinarily quickly, as the amount and lack thereof discretion in fraud and false advertising present in the company's recent history was enough to press charges. Timeline of lawsuit. 2011, whistleblowers comply with Department of Justice probe into company ethical practices. Whistleblowers reveal key insights into unethical practices taking place behind closed doors of top representatives, where sales teams were encouraged to push increased prescriptions on healthcare professionals through kickbacks and bribes. In 2015, Warner Shillcott agrees to plead guilty to criminal healthcare fraud. This is sealed with a $125 million settlement with the Department of Justice to resolve insurance claims on the state and federal level. In 2016, Deputy Attorney General Sally Quillian Yates issued Yates Memo. This memo laid out steps the Department of Justice should follow so that there is more accountability for individual representatives who, in similar white-collar fraud cases, hoping to mitigate future illegal business practices. Summary: what led to fraud? First, there was the recession, new hiring, unethical strategies, which included kickbacks and marketing false advertising. 4, the Department of Justice began to probe the company. 5, whistleblowers joined in solidifying the case for the Department of Justice. 6, guilty plea is reached. What happened next? Following the guilty plea deal of Warner Shillcott, the indictments of the individual senior representatives responsible for the unethical practices began to be proceeded. Who was involved? Carl Reichel, president of the pharmaceutical division, charged with 1 count of conspiracy to violate the anti-kickback statute, but was never formally indicted and never served hard time. Jeffrey Polodowski and Timothy Garcia, both district sales managers, both served 8 months of home arrest and small fines. Failures of the system. Those who have ended up being charged for white-collar crimes rarely serve time. Steps towards change. First, so often are these people in positions of power bailed out by the size of their companies and receive no real punishment. that the same crimes continue to occur. Recognize. The Yates memo and other articles designed to punish an individual business individual for unethical criminal acts need to set more strict guidelines for prosecution to follow. Amend. Juries and judges need to take individual responsibility for the execution of these indictments. With consistent practice, the message of unethical business practices will become that of zero tolerance. Follow through. Thank you, everyone.